Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 8th Adhyaya, Akshara Brahma Yoga, and Sri Krishna is telling us in brief about what is this nature of this Brahma, Akshara Brahma, what is the nature of this Avyakta, which is called as Akshara, and how it differs from the other Avyaktas. The little Jivatmas who also become Avyakta at the night of Brahma. After they shed the body, till they take up another body, they are in that unmanifest form. But that unmanifest Jiva is not the same, is not to be considered, not to be assumed, not to be thought of as the same as the eternal unmanifest which is imperishable. Because although they are unmanifest for some time, these Jivatmas, they have to again get embodied, they have to again manifest. With the dawn of sun, with the dawn of new day, they have to again get in this form, take up the new bodies, have their lives, enjoy their lives, and as the night commences, they have to again shed the bodies and get into that unmanifest form till the next cycle. Now, Sri Krishna says this happens with the Jivatmans, not the Paramatma, not the Akshara Brahma. That Akshara Brahma is unmanifest eternally. That Akshara Brahma, that the unmanifest, doesn't have to get manifest, doesn't have to, it is in its own glory. It is only the Prakriti, the creation which comes and goes. And Sri Krishna says, once this Jivatman attains to that ultimate unmanifest form, that unmanifest reality, that ultimate reality, then there is no coming back. And this clearly told us in our previous reading of the 21st Shloka that Avyaktokshara ityuktaha tam ahuhu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. This Avyakta, the ultimate Avyakta, is also described as Akshara. It doesn't have any change. It doesn't get destroyed. That come day and that unmanifest form gets destroyed into getting embodied with the name and form. But this Avyakta, Sri Krishna says, they call it as Akshara. It doesn't have any mutation, it doesn't have any changes, it doesn't have any destruction, it doesn't have any dissolution. it is Akshara. And Sri Krishna says, reaching this Akshara Avyakta Brahman is considered to be the Paramam Gatim. It is the ultimate objective of all the life forces, of all the Jivatmans. The ultimate, the running race is to reach that, to become merged in that Avyakta Akshara Brahman. And Sri Krishna says, Yam prapya na nivartante, having attained that Akshara Brahman, there is no coming back again. That is it. The transmigratory cycle is all over for those Jivatmans who have merged in the ultimate Akshara Brahman. And Sri Krishna says, Tat Dhama Paramam Mama, that is my supreme abode. Once people come there, there is no more coming back and dwelling in the bodies, getting embodied again, leave those lives, again shed the bodies and wait for some time till the next body comes. No. The moment you come there, that is the end of it. And that was the 21st shloka. And in 22nd shloka, like we said, after reading 21st shloka, the Sri Krishna is going to tell us how to attain that. How that stage of merging this little unmanifest into the eternal unmanifest is possible. Now Sri Krishna in this 22nd shloka is going to tell us, puruṣhaḥ sa paraḥ pārtha bhaktyā labhyas yasyāntaḥ-sthāni bhūtāni yena sarvam idaṁ tatam. This is the great truth. Sri Krishna is telling how that stage of merging this little unmanifest, merging this Jivatma in the Paramatma, merging this little unmanifest into the eternal unmanifest, how that can we can make it happen. Puruṣhaḥ sa paraḥ pārtha, O Partha, O Arjuna, O son of Pritha. Puruṣhaḥ sa paraḥ. That Purusha is supreme. What Sri Krishna referred to as Akshara, that Avyakta which is also called as Akshara, and that is the ultimate goal, Paramagatim. That Sri Krishna says here, puruṣhaḥ sa paraḥ. That Purusha is the highest. And how that can be attained? Bhaktyā labhyas tvananyayā. That can be attained only by ananya bhakti, ananyayā. Having no other thought. The devotion without any distraction. Ananyayā bhaktyā. Bhakti is devotion. Devotion without any distraction. Single-pointed devotion, bhakti of Jivatman to the Parama. Then let there be no other, what is there on the way? Let me have a look at it. Though no other distractions. It is ananyayā. There is nothing between the Jivatman and the Paramatman in the devotion. In the devotion between the Jivatman and Paramatman, there is no obstacle, there is no second party, there is no third party, nothing. So, Sri Krishna says, yasyāntaḥ-sthāni bhūtāni. Yasya is in whose. Antaḥ-sthāni, the dwelling within. Bhūtāni, all the beings are dwelling within that Paramatman. Yasya antaḥ-sthāni bhūtāni, and yena sarvam idaṁ tatam, and he, the Parama Purusha, the Akshara Brahma, yena sarvam idaṁ tatam, he is there pervading every nook and corner. He is there in all the beings. All the beings are in him, and he dwells in all the beings. He dwells in the entire creation, is filled with him. If one has that single pointed devotion, me and my Lord, me and my mother, that one pointed devotion, there should not be any distraction. What about my family? What about my friends? Nothing doing them. It is just me and my Parama Purusha, me and my Paramatma, me and my Divine Mother. That kind of single pointed devotion. So Sri Krishna says that is the way you can attain. And how that can, why Sri Krishna says that? He says because that real entity, that Parama Purusha has pervaded everything. There is nothing in this creation which is not filled by that Akshara Brahman. And after all these beings, they are also in him. So that is the teaching that Sri Krishna is again and again and again telling us, that the Brahman is pervading all sarvam idaṁ tatam. Whatever is there in this universe, in this creation, is filled with the Lord. That Supreme Purusha, O Partha, is attainable by unswerving devotion, single pointed devotion. Let your devotion between you and him, let it have no scope for any interference by the third party. No family, no friends, no society, no social connections. Just me and my mother. So this Parama Purusha is attainable by unswerving devotion, within whom all beings dwell. Yasyāntaḥ-sthāni bhūtāni. Within whom all beings dwell, and by whom all this is pervaded. It is like we study the set theory, that big circle, and in that circle there are those small circles. It is like that, the set and the subsets. That subsets are within the set. But the set, the major set, it also pervades, it also fills all the subsets. Students of logic and mathematics, they can very well relate to this subset theory, that the Paramatma, the Brahman, is pervading everything, and everything is within that. So that is how Sri Krishna says, that is how that Parama Purusha is attainable with the unswerving devotion. Ananya Bhakti is the devotion of non-separation. It is the outcome of the right understanding of the relationship between Jivatman and Paramatma. That is the ultimate relationship. Fine, okay, out of illusion, the Paramatman creates these Jivatmans and send them down, send them away from his own Akshara unmanifested form. Send the Jivatmans down, go and enjoy whatever you want to do, get embodied, you leave those lifespans and then come back to me again. But in the process, what happens? Under the influence of Maya, with the aid of these instruments of five sense objects and the faculties of mind and intellect, we start perceiving the creation. The Jivatman is basically actionless, but the mind starts perceiving the creation and thinks this is real, and the mind wants to enjoy that creation, which is absolutely temporary. And in the process, the intellect, which is actually the connection between the Jivatman and the Paramatman, intellect also forgets what is its real duty. That discriminatory faculty of what is right, what is wrong, it gets hampered, and buddhi doesn't work, and the mind starts playing its own tricks. Then suddenly the jivatman, the intellect wakes up. Oh, what I am doing? I am getting away from my reality. And when that sense of which is my origin, from where I have come, when that thought process starts, then we start finding all these things surrounding us as Akshara. And then we start hankering after the Akshara. When that hankering starts, then develops that devotion, unstinted devotion. That who am I? What is my relation with the Akshara Brahma? And then we get this, the yearning to be one with that Akshara, to merge in that imperishable Brahman. So that bhakti, ananya bhakti, that's what Sri Krishna says. Unless until it flares up within, the merging is not possible. And therefore Sri Krishna says, puruṣhaḥ sa para pārtha bhaktyā labhyas tvananyayā. That can be attained through ananya bhakti. They are interrelated. The Jivatman and the Paramatman are interrelated in the way in which the sea and waves are interrelated. We cannot differentiate waves and sea as such, isn't it? Wave we see as a form. When it gets manifest, we see it as wave, and then we call it is a wave. It is part of the sea. But the sea and the wave, can we take them apart? We cannot. They are just part and parcel. The waves are so much part and parcel of the sea as such. The waves do not have any existence independent of the sea. Likewise, in reality, the Jivatman doesn't have any existence independent of the Paramatma. It has to be one with the Paramatma. But with the influence of Maya, we forget that. And we feel that we are the waves, we have our own existence. What is that sea? What is that ocean? We are the waves. But the wave, today it is like this, tomorrow it is like this, next moment. Why tomorrow? Similarly, Jivatman is no entity apart from Paramatma. He who understands this fact cannot help having unswerving devotion to the Lord. The moment this reality dawns upon us, what is our nature? Where do we belong? The moment this reality is, it comes to us, that we are the part of that. All other distractions, all other secondary allurements, temptations, they just vanish. There is no more distraction between the devotion of me and my mother. There are no third parties, second parties, no. When the individuality of the Jivatman is forgotten in the absorption in the Lord, it is then the devotion of non-separation. Then a stage of devotion is attained where the Jivatman is not Jivatman. It is very much part and parcel of the Paramatma. There is no body, there is no creation, there are no senses, there is no mind, there is no intellect. There are all these instruments of perception of the external universe, they just vanish. I can't see anything, I can't hear anything, I can't smell anything, I can't touch anything. It is me and my divine mother. that oneness, that ananya bhakti, the moment that stage of ananya bhakti comes, Sri Krishna says, the Jivatman attains Paramatma. The Jivatman attains the Parama Purusha. And why this happens? Because in reality, like Sri Krishna said, that it is the God which has filled everything. So there is no scope, even if I look so many other things, for me it is nothing but God in them. It is God which is manifested in those forms. It is the Lord which is manifested in those forms. These forms, they have no identity of themselves as such. And when this reality dawns, it is God everywhere. It is God in me. It is God in everyone. And everything is filled with God. When that reality flares up, when that understanding dawns, then that ananya bhakti, that unswerving devotion, it springs up. And what Sri Ramakrishna has to tell on this? Sri Ramakrishna also tells the same teaching that Sri Krishna has given. Sri Ramakrishna says, God is in all beings. Every being is filled with God. But all beings are not in God. Sri Ramakrishna says, God has filled everything. All beings are not in God. All these small, tiny entities, separate, individualistic entities, they are not in God for that matter. God dwells in them. Sarvam idaṁ tatam. That's what Sri Krishna has said. Sarvam idaṁ tatam. Everything is filled by me. Everything is filled by that Parama Purusha, by that Akshara Brahman. But under the influence of Maya, we consider we have our own existence. No, it is God in us. It is God in everything around us. That is what Sri Ramakrishna says. Have that understanding, and that stage of Ananya Bhakti will spring up in our hearts. Once that stage of Ananya Bhakti, that unswerving devotion flares up, once that unswerving devotion kindles in our heart, we are not far away from attaining that ultimate reality from where there is no coming back then. It is just in that absolute state of bliss. So that was Sri Krishna's telling us how that stage can be attained by Ananya Bhakti. Now, this here, let us not, it is not that Sri Krishna means to say that all other forms are inferior. In fact, that stage can also be reached through jnana, that stage also can be reached through karma, that stage also can be reached through yoga. But if this Ananya Bhakti is coupled, things become much easier. And we keep on doing our works in the world, like we have to do so many activities. We cannot escape from the works that have come to our Lord. We can keep on reading all the scriptures and all. We can become jnanis and pandits. But with that Ananya Bhakti, that will always keep our momentum, that will always keep our ego in control. That our aham, that will keep in control if we have that Ananya Bhakti, because then we will know there is no difference between me and anybody else. It is the God which has filled me, it is the God which has filled everybody. And like Sri Ramakrishna said, God is in all beings. Once that understanding dawns, once that understanding comes, it will come because of the unswerving devotion. And why? And that's why Sri Krishna says that is so very critical. Then whichever path one may follow, but unswerving devotion, the Ananya Bhakti, is the key to attain to the Brahman. So that was the 22nd shloka, and again in the 23rd shloka onwards, again Sri Krishna is going to tell us about the path of enlightenment, how to attain this knowledge. The path of enlightenment and the path of darkness. which eludes us from getting nearer to the Brahman. So both the path of light and the path of darkness that Sri Krishna is going to tell us in the next few verses. Till then, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.